Deafness can be physical, but it can also be spiritual. The soul that is not inclined to be aware that he has everything to learn will be deaf. The soul that is doing too many things will end up in spiritual deafness. The soul that is so hyped up about doing much at a certain time before a certain deadline and always in maximal mode will be gradually in a situation of spiritual dumbness and deafness, because it will be numbed and will be unable to pick up the little things. Ephphatha, the command of open, pasach, and it becomes then the passive command here, Ephphatha, is what the Lord himself would have said. We have the very sound that came from the lips of the Son of God, and this had an effect. The man was unstopped, as we would say, unbunged. He was opened up. The plug was taken out of his sensory system, and he could pick the little things up and say things clearly as well, for often not hearing well leads to not having distinguished sounds either. And we need to be aware of the fact that our words can be consoling and welcomed, or they can be heavy and repulsed by the very fact that they are too heavy and too frequent. If we speak too much, people switch off. And so, every time we open our mouth, we need to be aware that what we must do at that point is add to the general quantity of light and lightness around us, so that at the end of our conversation, however brief it may be, there will have been an addition to the quantity of knowledge and to the quantity of joy. Many people go through life in mode of criticism and general negativity, even in holy circles. One prefers to steer away from that kind of atmosphere rather than get contaminated. There are certain Christians who are very good at one specific sin, criticizing holy people, criticizing bishops, priests, popes, criticizing what is going on. In other words, not realizing that when one finger is pointing away, 3 fingers are pointing back. But also in general, it is important to be open and to be sensitive. I was once hit by a word which leapt out of the scripture and out of the chant. It was a gospel we were singing that day, Ephphatha ista hink. Take these things away from here. It was what the Lord said when he was annoyed to see how the house of God, which was meant to be called a house of prayer for all nations, was becoming a den of robbers, and he did not want clutter in the holy place. In one gospel it says that he would not allow anyone to carry an object, presumably of some weight, through the holy place. He did not want this trafficking, but it's in our holy places. But the holy place, above all in which it is in, is that of our soul and our heart. There is too much clutter, and we cannot pick up the little things. So if we virginize our soul, our mind, our time, then we are able, without all this clutter and all these words pumped at us and coming out of us, to be at last free, receptive, and to take in the correct word, which then we can transmit in warmth and joy. For we only give well what we have well perceived, and we cannot give what we do not have. Be still and know I am with you. Be still, I am the Lord. I will not leave your offense. I leave with you, my word. Be one. Ephphatha ista hinc. Take these things away from here. Amid the hours that move and move us on, amid the spaces wherein moments rest, amid the workings done and never done, and paused waitings by a hollow blessed. There can be times when time need not be moved as quickly as it is. There can be days too filled with force of filling, nor improved are happenings by happening always. There is a place, there is a holy place, where nothing need much move, where quietly the beams that hover near can have a space to be perceived, received, just quietly. For we need not do much, but do much well, and oft a softer doing more can tell. Hoc est enim corpus meum quod pro vobis tradetur.